Two bikes, same brand, same price range, completely different personalities. On one side, you got the Honda NC750X DCT, the bike that basically thinks for you. On the other side, the Honda XL750 Transalp, the bike that wants you to actually ride it. Both are Honda's answer to the same question. How do we build a 750cc bike that regular people can afford and actually use every single day? But the way they answer that question could not be more different. And by the end of this video, one of these is going to make way more sense for your life than the other. I've dug through the actual 2026 spec sheets, the pricing, the engineering choices, and I'm going to break down exactly why Honda built these two bikes the way they did, and what that means for you in the real world, not just numbers on a page. Let's get into it. First up, the engine. This is where these two bikes split completely, even though they share almost the same displacement. The NC750X runs a 745cc parallel twin, making around 58 horsepower at 6,750 RPM and about 51 pound-feet of torque at just 4,750 RPM. The Transalp runs a slightly bigger 755cc parallel twin, but it's pushing out 91 horsepower at 9,500 RPM and 55 pound-feet of torque at 7,250 RPM. Now here's the thing people miss. That's not a small gap. That's over 50% more horsepower from basically the same engine. Why would Honda do that? Because these two bikes are built for completely different jobs. The NC750X engine is actually derived from a car engine, originally shared with the Honda Jazz. Honda tuned it to make its power low down and keep the revs lazy, because the whole point of that bike is fuel economy, low stress riding, and being smooth in traffic. You're not revving this thing out on a mountain road, you're commuting, and you want a bike that sips fuel and never gets cranky. The Transalp engine is a completely different animal, even though it looks similar on paper. It's tuned to rev high, brief better, and make real power, because this bike is built to handle highway passing, loaded touring, and actual off-road throttle control, where you need punch when you open it up on gravel or a hill climb. So in the real world, if you're doing pure city commuting, the NC750X feels completely adequate, because you're rarely above 5,000 RPM anyway. But the second you load up the Transalp with gear, add a passenger, or hit an incline at speed, that extra horsepower is the difference between confident and stressed. Now let's talk transmission, because this is honestly the single biggest difference between these two bikes, and it's going to be the deciding factor for a lot of you. The NC750X comes with Honda's DCT, dual clutch transmission. This is a true automatic. 2 clutches, 6 speeds, and the bike shifts gears for you with 0 clutch lever, 0 manual shifting required, unless you want to use the paddle shifters yourself. It's been refined for over a decade at this point, and for 2026, it's had its low-speed logic sharpened even further for smoother stop-and-go control. The Transalp for 2026 does not offer DCT. Instead, Honda gave it something called e-clutch. This is new tech, first showing up on smaller Hondas in 2024, and now landing on the Transalp for the first time this year. Here's how it actually works. You still have a full manual gearbox and a clutch lever, but the bike automatically manages clutch engagement for you when you start from a stop or shift gears. You can still pull the lever yourself anytime you want, but you never have to. Why does this matter? Because Honda is basically giving Transalp riders the convenience of an automatic without taking away control. If you're someone who actually wants to feel connected to the bike when you're carving a corner or picking your way over rocks, e-clutch gives you that option, and DCT does not. This is why serious adventure riders lean towards the Transalp setup, and city commuters and new riders lean towards the NC750X's DCT. One removes decision-making completely, the other gives you the choice. Now, let's move to suspension and off-road capability, because this is where the gap between these bikes becomes obvious fast. The NC750X runs a basic 41mm conventional Showa fork with about 119mm of travel front and rear. That's not adjustable in any meaningful way. It's tuned soft for comfort, for absorbing potholes in city streets, not rocks and ruts. The Transalp runs a 43mm Showa upside-down fork with 200mm of travel, and it features adjustable spring preload to help you dial in the ride. The rear shock gives you 190mm of travel and is also adjustable. That's almost double the suspension travel of the NC750X. Why does Honda do this? Because the Transalp is built around a genuine adventure riding mission. It rolls on a 21-inch front wheel and an 18-inch rear, both wire spoke, which is the classic setup for anyone who plans to actually go off pavement. The NC750X rolls on 17-inch wheels both ends, which are built for road grip and stability, not dirt. So here's the real-world impact. Take the NC750X down a gravel fire road and it'll survive, but every bump gets transmitted straight into your hands and spine because the suspension can't soak it up. Take the Transalp down that same road and the long travel suspension just eats it up, and the bigger front wheel rolls over rocks and ruts that would knock the NC750X offline. If your riding plan includes anything beyond paved roads, this spec alone should end the debate for you. Now, brakes. The NC750X keeps things simple and cost-effective with a single 320mm front disc and a wavy 240mm disc at the rear. It's plenty for city traffic, but it's not built for aggressive downhill braking. The Transalp, on the other hand, steps it up to dual 310mm floating discs up front and a 256mm disc at the rear. More horsepower and higher speeds mean you need more stopping power. Both bikes get ABS, but the Transalp lets you deactivate rear ABS for off-road riding, something the NC750X does not offer because, again, the NC750X was never designed for dirt riding.
Let's talk seat height and weight, because this is where the NC750X actually wins for a huge chunk of buyers. The NC750X sits at just 800mm seat height, and Honda even offers a lower accessory seat that drops it further. That is genuinely low for a 750cc bike. The Transalp sits at roughly 850mm, which is tall, built for the adventure riding stance where you might be standing on pegs or navigating uneven ground. If you're a shorter rider or someone new to bikes who wants both feet flat on the ground at a stoplight, the NC750X is going to feel dramatically less intimidating. The Transalp, with its taller stance and taller wheels, is going to feel like a much bigger bike underneath you, even though the weight difference isn't massive. In fact, the NC750X is actually the heavier bike here, sitting around 493 pounds wet, mostly because of that big front storage compartment and the added weight of the DCT gearbox itself compared to the Transalp's roughly 463 pounds wet. So you get a taller, lighter bike in the Transalp and a lower, heavier bike in the NC750X. That's an important trade-off depending on your confidence level and your inseam. Speaking of that storage compartment, this is one of the NC750X's biggest selling points and something the Transalp simply cannot match. Because the NC750X's engine sits low and slanted, Honda carved out a massive 23-liter storage box where a normal fuel tank would go, big enough to fit a full-face helmet. The actual fuel tank is relocated under the seat. This is a genuinely clever engineering decision built entirely around commuter practicality. You get built-in secure storage without buying a single accessory. The Transalp has no equivalent because it doesn't need one. It's built to carry luggage on racks and panniers for actual touring, not stash your groceries. Now let's talk fuel range, since this actually matters if you're commuting daily. The NC750X sips fuel at around 67 miles per gallon thanks to that low-revving, torque-focused tune, giving you roughly 240 miles from a 3.7-gallon tank. The Transalp, with its higher-revving, more powerful engine and bigger 4.5-gallon tank, still manages solid touring range, but it's going to drink more fuel per mile if you're riding it the way it wants to be ridden, with the throttle open. If your commute is long and fuel costs matter to you, the NC750X wins this category outright. Now, price. For 2026, the NC750X DCT starts at $9,499. The Transalp starts at $10,199, and that's actually a $200 increase from last year, specifically because Honda added the new e-clutch system and adjustable suspension as standard equipment. That $700 difference isn't random. You're paying for double the suspension travel, way more horsepower, adjustable damping, bigger brakes, and the new e-clutch check. The NC750X's lower price reflects a bike built around simplicity and city practicality, not performance hardware. So here's the real breakdown. If your riding life is mostly pavement, mostly commuting, and you want the lowest stress, most foolproof experience possible with real storage space and incredible fuel economy, the NC750X DCT is built exactly for you. If you want a bike that can actually handle real adventure riding, gravel roads, longer trips with a passenger, and you want the option to control your own clutch when you feel like it, the Transalp is the clear winner and honestly worth the extra money. Neither bike is better than the other, they're just built for completely different riders, and now you know exactly which one that is for you. Subscribe if you want the next comparison the second it drops.